If you thought Child's Play was freaky, oh boy.
Welcome to the horror show. You realize there is nowhere to run. Don't know, came to fight. Paranoia is getting alive.
Dolly, Dearest. The 1991 Maria Leese directed horror film that has a lot of strong elements as well as some minor downfalls. By the way, this film was suggested for me to do by Wabinator. There's a shout out for you, buddy. The plot: during an archaeological dig, an evil force is released and heads to the neighboring doll factory. Cut to some time later, and a family, namely the father, has taken up business in said factory. However, when his daughter comes across some dolls, she immediately takes a liking to them. Well, one in particular. Too bad an evil force will manipulate her because she was just looking for a friend. This movie has some subplots that fit quite nicely together. There's the friend of the archaeologist who goes to investigate the site, the maid, and her nun sister, the doll factory, the family, and all of it just blends together seamlessly. It's a very well-made movie too. The cinematography, visuals, and lighting are all effective. The actors and actresses all do stellar jobs, and I was rooting for everyone's survival. For a low-budget Child's Play ripoff, the cinematography is rather well done. We get nice establishing and interior shots that also accompany the great lighting schemes. When I said this film has great visuals, I wasn't mainly focusing on the special effects, but more so the startling sights that are given to us in spooky spectacles, such as the mother having an intimidating stare-off between her book and the doll playhouse, as well as the sight of her daughter standing in the doorway with the rain and wind flying around her with an evil and ominous presence about her. While not being perfect, the problems mostly lay on the concept. This is a pretty clear Child's Play ripoff, but it works in its execution and style. It comes across as more highbrow than the first Child's Play, actually, even though it's more contained. It was, however, competing with Child's Play 3 at the time. I feel if it came out in the US a year later, it'd have been done better. So the film has great characters, acting, looks nice, and is visually stunning. What else can this film offer that works in its favor? Everything I've mentioned are pretty much the stronger aspects of the film. Let's get to some more of the downsides that I begrudgingly bring to you. The gore, the effects. There's not much in terms of blood or gore. We get a hand stuck in a sewing machine, a couple of stabbings, and an explosive gunshot. The effects on the doll are meh. They do look freaky sometimes, and the other times, it looked like just shaking them around meant that it was trying to bring fear to the table. Speaking of tables, why is it that every time the doll sits on one of the tables, and the person walks by it or away from it, its fucking head turns? Every freaking time. The motion picture soundtrack, Mark Snow, composer of over 200 titles, composed a beautiful and haunting score for this movie. I really loved the music in this film. This was a pretty solid killer doll film. The only thing that holds it back is the lack of gore, and the fact that it's a Child's Play ripoff, but not too much of that holds it back. Dolly, Dearest has a creepy vibe. The effects, while at times meh, are solid. The music is powerful and the characters are great. I definitely say give this film a chance. It's highly worth it. Overall, I give Dolly, Dearest a 3.5 out of 5. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below, leave comments, and subscribe.